Hey everyone, Stones here, recording another video with very loud chainsaws in the background. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but I wanted to document and I wanted to share everything that I picked up at the most recent electronics recycling event that I participated in. Again, on Saturday, my buddy owns an e-waste company, and if you haven't watched any of my past videos, I work with him at these recycling events. I don't work for him. But he holds these electronic recycling events throughout the summer in different townships and cities and with different organizations and companies, and he does it for free, where we set up like a temporary drop-off site where people can come for a 3 or 4 hour event and drop off their unwanted electronics to be disposed. And so my agreement with him is I provide him with a little bit of manpower, and in exchange for my time, he allows me to take anything and everything that's donated at these events. A lot of hard work, but it's worth it, as you can see here. So I wanted to show off some of the stuff, kind of talk about some of the stuff, and yeah, document it. So here we go. I normally pick up anything that is still sealed, brand new sealed, because normally there's still value with this stuff. Some of it there isn't. So this is a hard drive, 13 gig, not even a 14 gig hard drive. I think I looked this up and it's worth like 20 bucks or something like that. And then there's this vacuum pressure tester by Sun Pro that's worth like $10 or $15. And one of the things that I do at these recycling events, because I really don't have time to look up a ton, because it's free, because it's at no cost to me, I just start throwing things in a box. And that's kind of what we all do. And then at the end, I go through it all at home, and if there's stuff that isn't worth it, it gets thrown away. I bring it back to the next recycling event, give it back to the company that it was supposed to go to. Maybe I'll donate stuff, maybe I'll keep stuff. It just depends on the item. So a lot of the stuff, sometimes I find out that it doesn't work, it's not worth it or whatever, but it's okay because I didn't spend any money on it. You know, the difference is if I would have spent money, that would have been really bad. But because I only invested time and energy on this stuff, I grab up everything and then figure it out later. So I've talked about these before. These are the printer heads for the HP Office Jet Pro series printers. Now all of them don't have a removable head, but there are certain models that do. But these just pop right out. And these are worth about $100. I sell these for about $100 each. I grabbed 2 of those this past week. I think I had 2 from last week. I think I have about 8 listed now. So, you know, $800 right there for free. Bose radio. These sell really well. There is the remote, which is a bonus. I looked this one up before I started recording this video. If it works, we're looking at $125 on this. Now, there's a good possibility that it doesn't work because they donated it, but it could possibly be just because it's a radio and a CD player. They probably switched to some sort of digital system like everyone else. But if this works, $125. If it doesn't work, I can still sell it for parts, maybe 50 bucks, something like that. Texas Instruments calculators. I've been finding quite a few of these this year. Haven't really found them in years past. School started back up again. Kids are going to start needing these for their math classes, right? So if this works, I think this is like a $50 calculator. Some other electronics. So Roku remotes. I picked these up for my buddy now. His parents seem to go through these quite a bit. He told me that, so I was like, well, I see them all the time. So I'm going to load him up with these. I already gave him like 3 or 4 already. But he told me he always wants the one with the power button, so that's what I look out for. Apple Watch, I have no way of testing this or proving it works, so this is probably going to be a parts-only watch. I've had success with those before. Fitbit, it does have the chargers, so maybe I can prove that works. Maybe they upgraded. Again, if it doesn't work, can sell that for parts. This is interesting. This is an MP3 player. I've never heard of this brand, so of course we know iPod. iPods sell still. The older generations, the bigger ones, sell better for me than the newer ones, which you would think would be the other way around. But with Apple's announcement saying they discontinued the iPods and they're going to no longer make them, I can only see those becoming more and more of an item that you can resell. So lately I've been grabbing them up. But this is a new one. Also Zune. One of my bucket list items is a Zune. And a Zune is an MP3 player that was made popular again on Guardians of the Galaxy. So Star-Lord uses the Zune, which raised the popularity of that MP3 player. And I'd like to find one eventually find one. Any unusual remote. Now, when I looked this up, all I could find were like third-party ones to replace this remote, and those weren't worth anything. But I found one sold listing for this remote for $50 plus shipping. So I was really surprised. Well, I wasn't surprised, but there are no active listings for this. So maybe I can increase the price on that because I have the only one. Maybe $60, something like that. One of the things that I've been picking up more often again this year that I used to skip on in past years are digital cameras. Used to grab them every time, at yard sales, garage sales, thrift stores, and then I kind of quit. But I've been realizing that there have been ones that I've probably passed over that have been worth a lot of money. Some of these digital cameras are still worth $100+. I actually have quite a few that I've listed this year that are either sold or probably will sell. So I think one of these is worth like $50, and there's another one worth about $40. I think at one of the past recycling events, I did find one that's worth right around $100. The problem with these, though, is that they normally have a special battery in them. They don't take like a AA or a AAA or something like that. So in order for you to test them and get that higher dollar amount for them, you have to have that battery, you have to have that charger. So I've been a little bit more conscientious of making sure that I also have a charger if I see the chargers, to grab the chargers, because if I can't test them, I can't ask for that top dollar for them. Now into the video games, and this is where it's crazy. So a couple of a GameCube controller out of nowhere. Wish somebody would donate a GameCube. I have yet to see that. GameCube controller, some sort of DS charger, possibly a Game Boy charger. I saved those up. And this is where it's crazy. So, PlayStation 1. Really dirty condition, but I'll take it. A controller. This is like the second or third one I've gotten this year. This is new to me. Well, not technically not new to me. I very rarely ever see Xbox Ones at yard sales and garage sales, let alone being thrown away. Now, I did pick up one at a recycling event last year, but you could definitely tell it was trashed. Someone had taken a knife to it, a screwdriver, a hammer, I don't know, it was in bad condition. But I've never had a working one at a recycling event. I did buy my first one at a yard sale last year, but it didn't come with a controller. So by the time I invested in a controller, I didn't get much out of it. Because these actually the newer systems actually don't have a whole lot of value, even though it seems like no one's getting rid of them. So I do have one controller, which is nice. It allows me to test both of them. Ironically, at my last recycling event, I got a Xbox One Connect bar, or whatever you want to call it, and I literally said, I'm just going to list this and sell this individually, because I'll probably never see an Xbox One to put it with, or whatever. And then the following week, I end up with two. So got one controller, so I'll be able to test those. Got a couple power supplies, so I think we're good to go on that. This is kind of par for the course at the recycling events. Lots and lots of Xbox 360s and lots of Wiis, although I didn't get any Wiis this time around. Some of these look pretty dirty, pretty disgusting. Now, I've never seen this before. I've never seen a black Xbox 360 fat console. So normally if there's this size, they're normally white, and then if they're smaller, they're black. I've never seen the big size in black before, as far as I know. So that's going to be a new one for me. Now, it is 120 gig, and I have so many. If you saw my last post or my Instagram posts, I've got stacks of Xbox 360s. I think this makes the maybe 15th one I have now. I think I have 10 untested in my garage. I have 2 listed and 2 in my basement that have been tested but not listed. So I think I'm right around 15 Xbox 360s right now. Now, this really surprised me. This lady pulled up and she said, I wasn't even going to bring this stuff because I didn't think you would actually take it, because they're not really electronics. Look at all these video games. Now, most of these video games aren't worth anything. Now, I have found some good video games. Speaking of the PlayStation 1, last year I think it was, someone donated a PlayStation 1. I popped it open, and inside was a copy of Silent Hill, the original Silent Hill. Game only, that sells for over $100. Anyways, that being said, PSP, a bunch of PSP games. I've had experience with PSPs in the past. I find normally about one a year, but not at recycling events, normally at yard sales and garage sales and stuff like that. I've never seen this many games before. I need to do some research. Are there PSP games that have really good value and are rare? Just like there are rare PS1 games, just like there are some rare Xbox games, GameCube games, Switch games. Are there rare PSP games? I don't know. So there's the PSP. I guess this is the Madden version, or the Madden edition, special edition, or whatever. Missing the back cover, missing the battery. I already ordered those this morning because when it's free, when I didn't pay anything for it, I have no problem with investing a little bit of money to get more money out of it. So I think I paid more for the cover than I paid for the battery. So the cover, because it's a special edition, was pretty hard to find. I think I paid close to $20 for the battery cover. The battery was only like $10. So I'm all in $30 now for this. Now I do have a charger that I picked up somewhere, but I've been holding it just in case I found another PSP. But I'm probably just going to sell this all together, this huge collection. I think I have some other PSP games that I've been holding on to. But maybe for this whole thing, maybe $150 when it's said and done. There's some PSP movies, and then some Xbox games. There's even some sealed Wii games in there, and there's a sealed Xbox One game, some PS1 games. Nothing too special as far as I'm concerned, nothing too crazy in value. But what I do is I put these aside. I have a couple of racks, like they're movie racks, that I have filled with games, so that whenever I have a system that I want to sell, I'll put like 5 games with it, so they get games with their system. So, and then there's this Nintendo DS Mario Kart. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the right game in here. It's got Backyard Baseball instead. So, unfortunately, that was a miss. It would have been nice to have that game in here. So, there you go. That's from Saturday's recycling event. From about 5 hours of work, I show up for about a half hour early, and I leave a half hour after it ends to help with teardown. So we only got one more recycling event for this year, I think, is from what I understand, and maybe I'll record a video showing that as well. So there you go. Thanks for watching, and thanks for checking out my channel.